So what's the questions equity should be able to answer when someone says, why are you spending all this money? Well, here's the two questions.
Nigel.cecil, calling things out as you like it, especially for his fair-minded friends.
Hello, Chuckabatties, welcome. Thank you for joining Hilary and moi, Nigel Cecil, for this video. And thank you also to our new subscribers, because we do appreciate it when you hit the subscribe button. And then you can join the rest of our regular viewers, our fair-minded and equitable friends, who get in touch via our usual email address to bring to our attention the topics that are uppermost in their minds, which gives rise to this video. Why, when you look at the caption, a High Court action, equity versus spotlight, and someone holding a pint of beer. How does this come about? And it's taken us by surprise, because it's not all that long ago, a couple of times in the past year, when we've discussed this topic, equity's High Court action against spotlight. But it's been brought to our attention because some of you are members of Equity, the trade union for professional actors, variety entertainers and other creatives across the United Kingdom. And you also, because you're in showbiz, read the Stage newspaper, the Bible of entertainment up-to-date information in the United Kingdom. And you've read a recent article published by the Stage where they have obviously looked at Equity's accounts. They printed the fact that Equity's accounts reveal that some £275,000 in costs have currently been incurred by Equity in bringing their High Court action against Spotlight. They've now sought leave to appeal because they lost the first round and they've been granted leave to appeal. Equity's trying to get, Spotlight classed as an employment agency because they believe Spotlight's charges are a tax on hope. An emotive phrase. A tax on hope, because when it comes to showbiz, a lot of things are a tax on hope. Because at any one time within Equity, the trade union, some 90% of the members are out of work, looking for work. All sorts of things are a tax on hope. But of course, Equity, moving from resilience to resistance, have to fight the cause. And of course, we can all unite on a phrase like a tax on hope, can't we? But where does it now leave Equity? This caption where someone's holding a pint of beer. Thank you for this suggestion. Because at grassroots level, £275,000 equates to, depending on where you live in the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Hove and Brighton, London, and some other parts, a pint of beer can cost £6. And in other parts, you can get 2 pints of beer for £6. Try some areas of Wales or the north of England. And that's really, when it boils down to grassroots, it's all about. Because it's cost you as an Equity member at least 1 pint, if not 2 pints of beer. And it could cost even more, because this leave to appeal, the judge has said, Equity has got a real prospect of success. And you're saying, a real prospect of success, that's wonderful, isn't it? A real prospect doesn't mean what you think it means when it comes to, we've got a real prospect of success. We mentioned this in a previous video. No, the judge is only assessing whether the argument being presented by Equity in bringing their High Court action is fanciful or whether it is real. And the judge has determined it's real. So now it comes to a case, what's going to happen if more costs arise by Equity and they lose? You see, there's always a chance they're going to lose. And this is where the key questions you've brought into us. Because when it comes to members' money and the fact that, Equity is taking money off the unemployed, surely there's a higher degree of duty of care with members' money, whatever motivates you. Members' money, money off the unemployed, the duty of care. So what's the questions Equity should be able to answer when someone says, "Why are you spending all this money?" Well, here's the two questions. First of all, equity used to always be motivated by the fact that it was negotiation first before any confrontation. Now, does the current driving force within equity want to take the fight to everyone? Can equity demonstrate in this case they've had meaningful conversations, negotiations with Spotlight before they brought the High Court action? So first of all, negotiation first with Spotlight. And secondly, when they took the decision to proceed to High Court, did their legal advice give them a clear indication of what their chances of success were? Our previous experience with equity, wasn't it, Hilary? The advice that unless you could demonstrate clearly, and the legal advice confirmed it, that you had at least a 70% chance of success, then no, you find another way to proceed because you don't take unacceptable risks with members' money. So, did equity receive from their legal advice more than a 70% chance of success? Those are the two basic questions. Win or lose, equity should be able to answer clearly to their membership those questions. We wish them all the best. A tax on hope in all its forms when equity members are out of work, looking for work, is something we need to all unite about and make sure we're putting the interests of equity members, their professional interests, first and foremost. To use that phrase, professional solidarity, comrades. And as we've been talking about equity, to all actors, to all artists, good work. To all workers, good art. And to everyone everywhere, equity. Do let us know what you think by getting in touch with our usual email address. And as the Equity Council elections are now taking place in my alter ego, stay in tune with this video and hear moi statement for the generalists of the council. Chuckabutties. Until the next time, keep your topics, what's driving you uttermost, coming into our email address. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Chuckabutties. In my alter ego, here's my statement, appearing as a candidate in the general list for the Equity Council elections taking place by postal ballot right now. BBC Top of the Pops. I've never forgotten Levi Stubbs, the Four Tops, chatting with me about Reach Out, I'll Be There, saying music is a universal language. Whatever your cultural, ethnic or social background, everyone may relate through music. Equity should be similarly inclusive. Non-party political, non-sectarian professional have gone from equity's rulebook. Actors, variety entertainers, creatives are now treated as workers, promoting collective socialism. Understandable, considering trade unions' origins, but adherence to doctrines have developed into sectarian boundaries. I believe our profession must champion freedom of expression. Performance arts culture must be able to creatively entertain, innovate and challenge without dogmatic restrictions. I promise to remain free from ideologies. I'll prioritize your professional interests. As a former Equity Vice President, I promise that when you need support, advice or friendship, I'll channel Levi Stubbs. Reach out, I'll be there, making sure equity also acts equally for you.
Nigel.cecil, calling things out.